So, first of all, man, thank you so much for pulling up. I know that you don't do this often. You don't do many of these. You turn down a lot. And so I appreciate that you're here, number one.
You're the man, bro. Only for you.
I honestly hella appreciate it. So thank you.
Cool.
And it's great for the community of people that are listening. This podcast is obviously for young managers, young artists, people trying to navigate things in the industry. And at one point in the game, that was you. So
for sure, it still is.
It's at least you can now kind of share some of your thoughts and learnings, and hopefully it means something to someone. So,
Gangster.
By way of introduction, today we're joined by Sam Alavi, a key visionary behind the success of artists like BBNO Money. You've played an instrumental role in shaping the unique sound and innovative direction of the projects you work on. And I think the main thing that has always stood out to me with you and your company is you have an incredibly forward-thinking approach to marketing and branding and digital, which has brought you guys global recognition.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I think it's cool to hear somebody say that we have a forward vision on marketing and stuff. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as I never learned any other way because I didn't come from traditional artist management. I didn't come from working in a label. I came into the space having no traditional experience. I hadn't worked in a label, didn't work in artist management. I just came from live, worked on festivals. I understood base level marketing from a festival and show standpoint, but when it came to actual artist marketing records, getting an artist's brand out in front of people, I didn't learn any of the old ways, so I didn't have any kind of preconceived notions of we got to do radio or we got to do this. I didn't have any of that. So for me, it was how do I make something pop? I'm man, we go viral on the internet. And so it's cool. You call it forward thinking. For me, it's just the only thing I've ever known.
What's that saying? You can't teach an old dog new tricks?
Yeah, I think that's it. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I think I'm grateful. I'm not an old dog yet.
You weren't tainted though when you came into it. It's you weren't coming into management, and by tainted can have a negative connotation. Let's remove the negativity from it. You didn't come in with a preconception on how things should be done because you're in the traditional label role or a traditional publishing role or a traditional marketing role. You came into it being okay, I'm going to do this management thing and I'm going to work on breaking artists, and how am I going to do that? And then you just put your foot to the plow.
So kind of, sort of, honestly, how I came into it, I'll back it up. I mean, dude, I was in live. That was going to be my whole life. I was going to be a festival producer. I was going to be a promoter for life.
What did you work on?
I Imagine Festival. It was a 90,000 person festival on the East Coast. Ran operations and artist relations for Izu, Rolling Loud. Booked and ran all the ops for Heineken houses at Coachella and
wow.
Outside Lands. Fuck, bro.
You're tired.
And then 16 different venues.
No way.
Yeah, I did 2,000 shows in a year. In one calendar year, I had 2,000 shows.
Holy shit.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Brutal.
But it was, and it wasn't just me. I had a team. I worked at a company called Coalition Entertainment, dope talent buying firm, and festival ops company. It was cool. And I got to work on a bunch of other crazy shit, booking for the Walton family, the Walmart family. Shit was crazy, going out and having dinner with them. That shit was really crazy. But anyways, man, my whole life was that. And then kind of towards the end, right before COVID happened, which is when the course of my life changed, was I'd met Young Thug at Rolling Loud. And I got inspired by a conversation I had with his at the time manager, and he was Thug's been thinking about wanting to have his own festival, and I was all right, cool, I know how to do a festival, and so I started this festival called Family Business.
No way. I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, gave a piece of the equity to Thug, and we did it. We blew it out. It was fucking dope. AEG got involved, and we were about to take it to the next level. That was in 2019, and then
the world stopped.
And then the world stopped. Yeah, that was September of 2019. That was the whole trajectory of my life. I was man, I'm going to partner with these artists. I want to bring these visions to life. And whole thing went up in flames. And so right when COVID happened, I took some inventory on myself and I asked myself, man, what's the only thing I've cared about other than music, other than shows? and it was content creators like, new media content. I'm a fucking YouTube kid. Everything I've always watched, like I never watched TV. I don't know what cable is, like I didn't have that. For me, it was always just YouTube and Twitch for like 10 years. And so I decided, I was like, cool, like I'm going to dive into this space. I'm going to learn about this space, and I'm going to go involve myself with the creative space until the music industry opens back up in 6 months and I can get back to doing my shows and my festivals and shit. And so that's what Rightclick started as. It was a creator management company. My goal was to bring the level of management that I knew existed in traditional verticals like music and film and comedy and that shit, and bring that into the creator space, because I recognized that creators didn't have it. I had a few friends and folks that I was like, oh man, y'all aren't really being serviced. And so the first clients that I signed to Rightclick were just traditional like gaming content creators, Warzone streamers, Call of Duty kids. And then a thought came into my head, and I was like, man, there's a ton of artists, musicians, people that I'm friends with. They all play games. Why don't they start streaming? Why don't I become like a conduit to help artists like get into the gaming space? Like there's good money here. I've been here a couple months. I've seen it. And so that was a thought I was having. What happened from there was a buddy of mine, a childhood best friend, first friend I ever met when I moved to this country, actually, hits me up. He's like, hey man, I got an artist friend that's like cracking right now. He's like blowing up. He's got a super viral song. I want to introduce you to him. And I was like, all right, cool. What's his name? He's like, it's BBNO Money. I was like, never heard of him. So he connects me to him. We hit it off on that first call. And he was like, yeah, I'm a gamer too. I was like, cool, man. Let me represent you in your gaming career.
No way.
And so that's how I first started working with BBNO Money. And that's the roundabout way of how I got into artist management. Was eventually I did good enough on the gaming side of his business where he turned around and he's like, hey, yo dog, how about you actually manage me? And I was like, all right, fuck it, we'll figure it out.
Was there a moment you realized like we're on with that project?
Yeah, for sure. It was like a year before at least he like actually committed, to come in for full management. I brokered a pretty big deal for him with Counter-Strike and the EPL, which is like one of the biggest esports, like 30-day esport event, and getting his music in the game too, and a lot of money that's came from it ever since.
Crazy, yeah.
And like I remember one day he turned to me, he's like, yo dude, we just made more money than my fucking hit La 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 has made me. And I was like, oh shit, we on. So that was the moment where I was like, okay, we're in.
And from your live side, that obviously is like the different pillars, I guess, if you want to call them that and be super lame and corporate about it, but the different pillars of an artist and the things that they do. Live was like your shtick. It was like your thing that you knew. Gaming was your thing. The internet was your thing. You knew about all that. What was your journey like in terms of developing skills and experience in the other verticals of the career of an artist?
It was daunting, but it was a lot of me reaching out and asking people for help and being like, hey, cool, man, like I don't know how to do this shit. It wasn't until like I think about 4 years ago, really, when I started getting super involved with BBNO Money, and we were like doing a deal where putting his record in Counter-Strike, where I'm like, man, I got to go learn publishing. Can somebody explain this to me? And it was like, there was no Chat GPT back then. Yeah. And so I just reached out to managers that I had built relationships with over all these years, people that sometimes there was times, where I was like, man, is this humiliating that I'm reaching out and asking for help about something that maybe I should know? I'm like, no, it's not. Like, what am I going to do? Pretend like I fucking know and then go and fumble somebody's shit? So no. And that was it. That was the number one thing for me, was reaching out and asking. Even sometimes like I asked complete strangers how I truly decided to pull the trigger and come into the creator space. Was I went on LinkedIn. I was on Twitch. I looked at the biggest Twitch creator at the time, was this guy named Nick Merckx. And And I was like, fuck, who manages this guy, Nick Marks? This dude's clearly making hella bread. And so I went on LinkedIn and I found this manager's, like, his shit. There's this guy named Justin. And I added him. And I was like, hey, man, I'd love to pick your brain. I'll pay you for, like, consulting hours. Said some shit like that. He's like, no, it's all good. I don't want your money. Like, let's just hop on. And I got on a call with him and I was like, hey, man, tell me the whole shtick about your space. And he gave me the whole shtick. And that's, like, where I was like, all right, man, like, cool, fuck it. I'm going to start a company in the creator space. And, 250 clients later, we're here.
And you still engage in mentoring today? Like, you have people mentor you and...
All the time, dude. I both in my personal life and in, like, my professional life, something that I learned 8 years ago when I got sober, 8.5 years ago when I got sober, was like, you can't do this shit all on your own. You can't do nothing on your own. I can't. If I am left to my own devices, like, I'm gonna fuck everything up. So I need mentors for everything. Everything.
I think it's a good point, like, for people that are listening to this or watching this who are like, maybe they feel they figured a lot of it out, maybe they figured some of it out. It's like, you never stop learning. I think there's that old saying, it's like, if you're ever, I don't know the exact phrase, but if you ever stop learning, like, you're done, man. Like, especially, I think especially in today's day and age, and like the world that you and I operate in, more so you with like the career that you've had with these creators and streamers and the digital age, it's like you can't afford to stop learning. Like, I'm sure, am I right that some of these young content creators might be like teaching you things along the way, and you think like, well, I didn't know what the fuck that was.
All fucking day, bro. I can't even confabulate the idea of like stopping learning. I think on a weekly basis, I have this fear of like falling behind because of how fast shit is moving. Like, I take a look around sometimes and I'm like, bro, like, the world, everything, marketing, records, everything is moving so fucking fast. Like, all I can do is beg to like be involved in like that growth and just fucking staying there. So, I mean, the idea of not learning anymore is, it doesn't even register. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it.
What was the early blueprint for your work with BBNO Money, and how did you build the playbook as you went? Like, how did that process look? Because you guys are good friends. I literally saw you here on the couch before, and you guys are like exchanging things that you've just found, and you're talking about new shit. Like, how did that look?
Yeah, I think the early blueprint was, the first call was just based off the premise of like, man, can I be friends with this fucker, and can he be friends with me? Not just friends from like a business standpoint, and I know I get it. Like, I get that people say you shouldn't blend business and personal, but the reality is when you work in this field, you lay everything out all day. Like, you're in the game fucking 14 hours a day. It's not like I clock out and then I can turn on a personal life. It's like everybody in my business life is my personal life too. So I was like, can I vibe with this person? And we could. We saw eye to eye from a friend standpoint, from an ethics standpoint. And then from there, the blueprint really was figure it out. I was always just figure it out. A lot of it was like, I don't want to say like fake it till you make it, but a lot of it was like, just do, bro. And like, also like, if you don't know, don't be afraid to say like, I don't know, I haven't done that before, but I can figure it out. And eventually people start believing you when you say you can figure it out. I still say that shit to this day. It's like we recently signed one of the biggest gaming franchises, like the Assassin's Creed franchise. We signed them for representation for digital marketing.
Wow. Congrats.
And like, to be clear, like, we've done a lot of digital marketing work before for fucking a lot of other titles like Valorant and whatever, a ton of other games. But a lot of it was having a frank conversation with them of like, hey, we haven't exclusively done this before, but we can figure it out. And they're like, cool. And we did it. We just launched the Assassin's Creed Shadows game, which peaked at number 2 in the world under our shepherding.
It's amazing. I love that. I think it's a good mantra to live by. It's a mix of vulnerability and like personal accountability, personal challenge, and just letting people know. I think it makes for a good partnership when someone can be that way.
Yeah, man. I think in one way, like being honest and vulnerable, like you said, is disarming, and it also helps you. If something doesn't go exactly perfect, you didn't pretend like you were, you were gonna have everything be perfect. And on the flip side, when people really see you put in the effort, be resourceful, and make it happen, they celebrate your win so much harder when they know that you were honest about just not being the greatest manager in the world, or having been the most accomplished whatever in the world, that you were just somebody that said you'd figure it out, and you did. People will celebrate you.
How has the mission evolved since you launched, and what excites you about where you guys are headed?
The missions have evolved a lot. When we launched the company, it was supposed to just be a creator management company. Now, obviously, we have the creator representation side. I think we rep like 160 creators. We have the artist and producer writer side as well too, like 15 folks, and that was a development in and of itself. We didn't plan to get into the artist management space. It wasn't really until like Alex, BBNO Money, turned around and was like, "Yo, dog, like, I want to come in for the whole enchilada." And I was like, "All right, man, fuck it." I was like, "We'll figure it out." I was like, "You're my first management client. You're my first artist management client. And you make a lot of money." And he's like, "Yeah, you'll figure it out." He's like, "I saw you figure it out for 2 years building your business as it is." And he's like, "You'll figure the rest out." I was like, "Cool." So that was a big evolution. How we take an approach to artist management is a massive, massive differentiator for us compared to, I think, like a lot of the more traditional firms. And that is an ever staying evolution. I mean, we're constantly trying to find different ways to, it sounds cheesy, but like hack the system, just fucking crack the code, not have to pay $20,000 for a TikTok campaign to make a record go boom. And then, the creative agency side where we represent brands, that was an evolution too. That was just me getting a phone call one day saying, "Hey, there's this new game Valorant coming out, and they need help like partnering with music artists for like this online concert series thing they're trying to do." And I was like, "Cool, get me in there. I'll figure it out." I was like, "I know how to pair artists. I know video games too." And so I did this partnership with like Maddie on and Valorant.
Crazy.
Just fucking rest is history. And so that evolved to helping dozens of other games. And yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how to answer the question other than like it's fucking all evolved and it's always evolving. Yeah.
Speaking of evolving and how a lot of that has evolved, what does success look like for your company in 2025 versus 2020?
2025 is maintaining the momentum we have. I think like we did a really good job taking 2024 and some of 2023 and just building momentum. And it's tough, especially when we live and exist in 3 different verticals, all that are super fucking competitive. But at the beginning of 2024, end of 2023, I signed the biggest live stream creator in the world, this kid named Jinxie. Amazing human, amazing creator. That gave us momentum. We had the first big song for BBNO Money. That gave us momentum, and a few other big hits under our producer Inverness's belt. That was momentum. And so it was just building momentum. This year is about maintaining it, because I often see a lot of people that have these massive spikes of success, but then they flatline or they plateau out or they burn out. It's like, how do I maintain and how do I scale that? So it's been, we've hired 7 more people in the past 4 months, just trying to keep up with it and maintain it, make sure it's not fleeting.
Momentum is very important. I think one thing that a few listeners who are tuned in that maybe artists or managers, and they start to get a bit of momentum going, and then the phone starts ringing and they go into these periods of negotiating with different parties around becoming a partner, whether that be a label, whether that be a manager, whatever that be. Sometimes it's easy for people to get tied up in that and lose some momentum. I think you've played a really big role in shifting how artists can also build and sustain like a career independently. And that's something I know that listeners of this podcast will be hungry to understand. Tell me more about that. Tell me about the independence.
Yeah, man. When I came into the space, again, being a novice, and I still am a novice, and I and I really started taking a look and understanding how a record deal worked and how the majors scoop up, 83% of the masters in perp. And I really started looking at the whole enchilada, and I was like, man, this whole thing is not really built to be financially defensible in the artist's favor. It's built to help expedite their growth, which I think a lot of artists are constantly looking for at all times, and I think that's totally fine. And I'm not saying I'm anti-label, but if you're here in the music business and you want to make a living from it, you want to build a career, you want to build a financially defensible business where you can employ 14, 15 people, and you want to be able to have money to throw around and do a big idea, you need to build a defensible business. And the traditional system really didn't seem like it worked. And so the system that we go by, most every artist that we sign, whether they're signed to any label or whatever it is, first thing we try and do is we find a way to peel them out of their label deal. If we can't, we honor it. Of course, they go through, they fulfill their term. And we keep them off labels. We move them onto a great independent distributor. We work with a handful. Stem's like one of our favorite. ADA is another great one. We put them on a really favorable split, and we work the records that we put out with the resources that they have and the resources that we have and the ways that we know how to work a record. And we try and pop a song off, and then we sell it. We just sell songs off, one off at a time. Labels want to get involved in a record when something's working. That's when they work the best. That's when they put the most resources in. That's where they like actually put the fucking foot on the pedal. So what's the point of signing 24 records, fucking 2 albums, whatever it is, if only one of them are going to pop? They're only going to pay attention to one. So why even get pressed? Why sign another 23 songs to them? So it's like we pop a song off. I tell people all the time in all these label meetings, like, hey man, we're better at getting a song from 0 to 1. You're better at taking that song from 1 to 100. But I don't want to sign. I don't think you guys are good at taking records from 0 to 1. You guys don't make a difference. So that's been our model. Our model is take records to a place where they're worth a label's time, sell those records off one off at a time. And it's worked for artists as big as BBNO Money. And I learned a lot of that business model from him. All the way down to smaller acts like YNG Martyr and other folks that we work with.
I love that. That's dope. It's a real cool way of thinking of it.
It's
one-offs.
It's an obscure model, but I mean, look, dude, like we can have 6 stinkers that go out, 6 songs that don't do well. All it takes is one song to do well, and we sell the record for $1 million, $1.5 million. That funds the next album. The next album, we're on a fucking 90-10. It's like,
yeah,
cool.
100%. There's ways to do it. I think in this game as well, like the structures of everything, like our lawyer that we work with is constantly, to labels' dismay, challenging the status quo and trying to rewrite how things are done. I'm sure that you and the team around you and your representation do the same. It's like just because something's always been done a certain way doesn't mean that we can't challenge it and try to rewrite it. And there are people out there that are willing to back a new way of thinking as well, even in those buildings.
Correct. I think every label we've met with every one of them for honestly fucking all of our artists, or if they want to fucking JV with us or whatever it is. When we explain our business model to them, nobody says, oh, we're allergic to that. They're like, dude, what you're doing makes sense. It's like we've just been signing singles the past 3 years anyways. It's like we don't really do artist development deals anymore because there's nothing we can actually fucking do anymore. I mean, like the power's not in their hands as much.
Yeah.
And I think they know that. I don't know, man. I think folks at labels are amazing, and like I said,
There's some great teams out there.
There's amazing teams out there.
Like, get your shit started.
Yeah, big time.
I read a quote in an interview where you said, I'm starting to put less and less faith in influencer marketing as a vehicle for the distribution and marketing of music. Can you expand on that for me this year? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's crazy because it's such a double-edged sword, especially when I say it, because we represent 160 influencers as well. I'm starting to put less and less faith in exclusively leaning on influencer marketing to blow up a record. And what I mean by that is, like, as I've looked around to like peers and colleagues, even some mentors and stuff that I like often bounce ideas off of, like, folks just sometimes, like, they put a record out and the only thing they're worried about doing is like, hey, we're going to throw 50 grand at this TikTok campaign and, we'll see if it goes. I think that exclusively relying on influencer marketing is a massive disservice to the artists that you look after. I think that they deserve better. I think it's a lazy approach. If all you think that can move the needle on a record is influencer marketing, I think is it's a disservice. Yeah, it's short-sighted. I think it plays a part in a greater whole. But I don't think it's the only thing that you need to be doing.
What are you excited about in the marketing space right now?
I think, like, thinking about 9 months ago, fan pages were like a big thing. I think they're still really big. I think, like, right now they're bigger than ever for a lot of folks in, the management and label space. 9 months ago, we were fucking farming fan pages. I mean, both for our content creators. I mean, one of my content creators, we had like 130 fan pages. 130 fan pages, posting 4 to 6 times a day.
Holy shit.
Like, we're not doing all the posting ourselves, and, like, you hire out folks and contractors that can help with that shit. But it worked. I'm finding that that's not working as well anymore. And so, like, today, like, what we're looking at and how to, like, kind of fuck the system a little bit is, like, or, hack the system is, like,
fuck the system sounds better.
Yeah, fuck the system, whatever.
Isn't that a Rage Against the Machine? That's a lyric.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
Carry on.
Oh yeah. It's just content spamming. Like, a lot of people have been, like, super pretentious about, like, artists. Like, hey, like, I'm only gonna post once a day, or, like, I can't post like 2 hours after I made another post. Or, like, man, like, we just posted 43 TikToks in a day with one of my other artists, and we got 26 million views in a day. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm starting to recognize the algorithm is vastly changing. And so it's trying to understand how the algorithm's changing, and how do we use that to our own favor. Another thing that I'm like, this is super obscure. Another thing that I've been, like, fucking around with is in these video games like World of Warcraft or like RuneScape, or you get World of Warcraft guy over there. There's bots that are all around this game that have hundreds of thousands of people online. Like, there's hundreds of thousands of people online at any given time, and these bots are always advertising, like, go to this website to buy gold, or go to this website. I'm like, what if they were saying go to Spotify and stream this song
in the game?
Yeah, to the hundreds of thousands of kids that are online at any given second. It's like, I'm not saying we're doing this or not, because it's totally against the rules. It's a big no. Don't break any video games rules.
Sounds like you're not doing this, but it's a cool idea.
I'm just saying, I think it'd be crazy
if this happened.
But it's like, the sheer amount of impressions, and it's like, also it's like it's targeted marketing in a way. It's like, hey man, if your artist has an affinity with, like, a gaming culture, a gaming audience, it's like, all right man, how do I lean into, like, Fortnite or World of Warcraft or League of Legends? Like, how do I get in there? It's like, another thing we've been doing is, like, Reddit farming. Reddit's super fucking underrated. I think everybody's always slept on Reddit, and it's like, bro, like, we've been building a bunch of alt accounts, and we take posts and clips of content that we know already has done well on our TikToks and stuff, and as a fan, we post it in a subreddit that we think would potentially enjoy that content, and just let the internet run with it. I mean, like, we had a couple of our clients one of our clients made it to the front page of Reddit twice just off of posts that we made, because you just find the right place, drop the right content in there, and let the fans do the rest.
Crazy.
It's like, dude, we're not faking anything either. It's like everything we put is just authentic. It's just we're the ones going out of our way to go and place it in that place that we know it could thrive in. That's it.
You're backing yourself so that other people back you.
Yeah, that's it.
Baby No Money has such a distinct brand. What's your approach to branding an artist in a world full of noise?
Oh, dude, I mean, this was one of the first things that me and Alex were unpacking. I mean, I remember when I first joined for full management, I flew up to Vancouver. We spent I stayed at his parents' house with him, and all we did for 4 or 5 days with him and his creative director and a few of his closest friends was just unpacking brand. And I think one thing that I've both learned from him, I think he's also learned from me, is just bro, the best way to pull this shit off and stand out from all the noise is unapologetically be yourself. That's it. Alex has been doing cosplays for the past 7 or 8 months, and in so many people's eyes, people would be like, "Oh, that's weird. Why would you do cosplays? Why would you do that?" Where it's Alex is because I think it's fucking cool. So he's I'm unapologetically going to be myself. And if I know for a fact that might invoke a little bit of controversy, or some people might think that's weird, I'm going to lean into it. I'm going to fucking stoke that flame. Oh, you think it's weird I do drag? Fuck you. I'm going to do more drag.
Yeah.
That's it. Just be yourself. But be yourself in an exacerbated way. And that could also mean, exacerbated doesn't mean post 40 times a day. Exacerbated can mean wipe your feed outright and say less, because saying less sometimes is more. That's what we're doing with one of my other clients, Sophie Powers. She's super, super colorful and, outstanding artist. And she's, she posted twice a day or 3 times a day for the past 3 years. And she's yo, man, recently I've just been exhausted, and I'm tired of I'm starting to be this person that I'm not anymore when I first started my project. And I'm cool. Well, let's just unapologetically be ourselves. Fuck it. Let's wipe all 2,200 posts that you've made. Was there
a one click for that, or did you have to?
No, not a one click.
Damn.
Not a
right click.
Not a right click.
Damn.
And wipe everything, and
you're halfway through. You're like, are we doing the right thing?
We did have that conversation, but we know we're doing the right thing, and it's been paying off right now too. So, anyways, just be yourself.
How do you determine what's worth investing time and money in versus what's just hype?
I wish I could answer this with confidence, but this is one of those things where I don't know.
Yeah. And
sometimes I straight up still pick up the phone and I call somebody who's been doing this more than me, or somebody who I look up to, and I'm like, "Hey man, this thing seems like it's working, but should we really be leaning into it? Should we still invest?" And it's a case by case thing. I haven't figured out my recipe yet on how to discern. I still go out and I ask.
What are the marketing campaigns or things you've done in the digital space you're most proud of? There's a number of them that are out there, but what are you most gassed on, bro?
Fuck. Okay. Just in music, or?
Top 2. One can be music and one can be another space that you work in.
The cosplays for Baby No Money. How it came to me was me and my co-manager were sitting in my backyard smoking a cigar, and we had just put out a Baby No Money record. It wasn't doing as good as we wanted it to be doing. It was doing good. Don't get me wrong. It was doing fucking great. Thank God. Knock on wood. But we're like, man, we really got to pave our own path here. We just fucking sunk some money into influencer, and it's not doing the thing. And so we came up with this idea of hey man, what if we made a post saying if we get 500,000 likes, we'll cosplay as Gojo. because Gojo's this anime character that a lot of people would always comment on our BBNO Money post saying like, well, you look like Gojo. I don't really see it still, but like, okay, well, this is what the fans want, so like, why don't we set like a goal? Yeah. If they hit it, and we told him to make that post, and he made that post. It got 500,000 likes in his first day, first fucking day. It was like, dude, that's no joke, dog. And I think it's probably at like 2 million likes or some shit now. And so we're like, all right, cool, we're doing cosplay now. And then we did that cosplay, and all the clips that came from it. I mean, we got another 40-something million views just from that. Wow. And since then, we've done 7 more cosplays. One bigger than the other, bigger than the other, bigger than the other. We've raised, I think, close to probably $100,000 for charity just as a byproduct of it.
The head shave at the show was cool.
Oh, yep. We've done all sorts of crazy shit to raise that money, but it's like it's a marketing campaign that truly just came from like being creative, and it took no money. I mean, the first Gojo cosplay, I think we spent maybe $1,000 on it. And we got 40-something million fucking views.
Insane. Backyard cigar.
Was it. So that's one. The other one that I'm most proud of, I've been playing the same game for like 22 years. It's a game called RuneScape. And they know that I'm a fan of the game. They also know that like we do like brand marketing. They called me one day and they were like, hey, like, I know you've been trying to work with us for some time. Like, now is an opportunity. We're having this big moment between like the football community, like American football community, and RuneScape. There's a crossover here because one of these massive NFL athletes came out recently as like, he announced that he like maxed his RuneScape account, and like ESPN and Sports Center and everybody like reported on it. He got like 13, 14 million views. And so they were like, we want to activate on this. How do we come up with something creative? So I came up with this idea to like send Sketch, the Sketch Reel, if you guys know the content creator. I sent him to the Super Bowl wearing this custom like one-of-one RuneScape jacket. And it was cool because like the amount of media outlets that picked up that like, oh, Sketch, this football influencer, is wearing a RuneScape jacket, and it got posted all over the internet. I mean, it went stupid fucking viral, and it was just it was cool. It's like we didn't spend that much money. Sketch thought it was cool because he was like, yeah, I fuck with RuneScape. This is so dope. And yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, we're not spending a ton of money. We're just like driving impact, like doing
some different shit.
Yeah, just doing some shit.
Rewriting it. Well, dude, those are some huge dubs. I think incredible what you've done with like your mind and your artist minds, and working with Sketch and working with BBNO Money on these ideas and smoking cigars and coming up with things. I love that. Let's flip it. What's a recent lesson that challenged your thinking as a manager?
A recent lesson that I'm still actively learning right now. It pains me how many folks I'd love to work with. I'd love to manage 10 artists. I have a guy right now. I mean, he doesn't make any fucking money. I don't give a shit. He's so talented. And I would kill to sign him for management. And I've been teaching myself restraint from wanting to work on so many projects, because even though you can add value, if I add value to a 7th or 8th client's business, I'm going to be taking some of that value that I could be giving to my other client away from them. And so it's a personal lesson. It's maybe not for everybody, but I'm slowly learning to keep the circle really small as far as how many people I really commit to. It's tough because if it was up to me, bro, I'd love to have a 10 artist roster.
It's hard when you see someone, you believe in them, and you know, like, man, I fuck with this so much, and I'm going to be the best point guard for this out of everyone who's talking to you. But then you're like, how do I balance this?
I feel like so many managers have learned this lesson, far before me. It's just like, to me, it's a newer lesson because I'm newer in the game in my own way, and so Yeah, it's a lesson I'm going through right now.
How have you navigated dealing with people in the industry who don't necessarily have your best interests, and you have to figure out navigating that with you and your artist? Because like there's going to be a lot of people watching here who are going to they're going to encounter a whole lot of amazing people. This industry's full of them, but they're also going to encounter some people who don't have their best interests. Like, how do you navigate that as a human?
Yeah, man. Also something that I'm actively learning, although it's something that I've learned from a different lifetime anyways, just before I got sober and before I really came into entertainment. I've learned to be honest with them when I recognize that their intentions aren't the same intentions as mine, and I tell them that it's totally fine. Doesn't matter. You don't need to you don't need to sit there and say, I want you to get as rich as possible or whatever it is. I don't need you to have the same exact goal in mind. It's about recognizing like, cool, what's your goal? What's my goal? Let's be unapologetically honest about what it is and see if there's a middle ground where both exist. If it exists, great. Let's pull trigger. And if it doesn't, then I've been learning to politely bow out of situations, but not in a manner where I don't let them know that I know they're a piece of shit. I've had to do it recently where I just told somebody, I'm like, hey man, this deal isn't for us because I only like working with good people. And he was fucking blown away when I told him that. And I might have been rude, but I think part of for me is like, I'm interested in developing a reputation where in 10 years somebody can be like, oh, Sam's a dick, but at least he's just honest. I don't give a fuck. I just want to be honest.
How important is reputation?
I think reputation is everything. But I don't think reputation, you can have a reputation.
You don't need to please everyone.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know if it's possible to be good at what you do if you're constantly pleasing everyone. You have to piss some people off. It's just inevitable. It's because, yeah, I don't know. This is a hard question.
I heard this quote the other day. I think as you kind of grow in the space and as a manager, you figure out a bunch of people don't like you. And that can be hard as you're a young adult and you grow on to, I'm 34 and you want people to like you. But I saw this quote, not everyone's going to like you. After all, you don't like everyone. And I thought that was like, yeah.
Oh my God.
I thought that was, it's so simple and it's like a little bit cliche, but it's like, you know what? It goes back to what you're saying. It's like, you can be okay with that. Like you can be at peace knowing that it's like, hey, not everyone in that building or not everyone at that company or not everyone at that whoever it is going to like me. But you know what? That's cool because I don't actually like everyone either.
That's really good. I like that. It is a little cliche, but I think it's cliche for a reason.
You can see it on like a Tumblr or
yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you've been given in regards to working in the industry? Or one of the best pieces of advice you've been given? You mentioned mentors really early on.
Dude, don't be afraid to ask for help. That's it. That's the best piece of advice I got. And I didn't get it from this industry. I got that from a different program that I work in my personal life. But I've applied it into this industry. And honestly, man, like, most people that work in this space are good people. Then they're willing to give you time and let you pick their brain. They genuinely are. A lot of people that work in music are not bad folks. They're good people. And honestly, like, bro, we all want more good people to come into the space too.
Yeah.
It's just the truth.
I love that. That's dope. What habits keep you sharp and productive in your life, whether they be work habits, whether that be personal habits? We've never had this conversation before, but I'm interested to hear.
Working out.
Yeah.
Dog, exercise does something for me that not even my 8 shots of espresso can do. Yeah. It's a good question, bro. I wish I could give you a better answer than just exercising, because other than that, bro, I just play like 8 hours of video games, and that's my relief.
I love that though.
I think honestly, actually, that's the answer. It's
Is it enjoying
exercising
things outside of,
and have enjoyment in something outside of the work you do.
I think as well, like it's an interesting thought to sit there and go like, you know, I'm Dan, I'm a manager, this is what I do, but it's like, who am I outside of this? And that can be quite confronting. Like I started a therapy journey a year and a half ago, and that's something my therapist asked me, and I was just dumbfounded when he asked me. I said like, dude, I don't know the answer to that. Like I'd be working like crazy. I do my day job, I work out, I hang with my wife and my little boy, and it's like, yeah, what's your identity outside of that if it was all stripped away? So I think having enjoyment and they don't even have to be ventures. They can just be things that you do outside of what we do day to day, and outside whether you're an artist or a manager or a new A&R, I think is important.
Straight up. Yeah. I think it's something that I've been fortunate to have, is even though I'll work like 14 hours a day sometimes, is like I have different pillars of my identity I've never lost sight of. And I like, yeah, I don't know.
What's your gamer tag?
Vampire.
With nothing after it, like no 69, 097, GG, nothing? Just straight?
I've gone, it's my Instagram too. I've gone well out of my way, for better or for worse, to make sure I got Vampire on damn near everything. And when I say damn near everything, dude, I have spent...
So there's some rich kids out there that had the at.
The most... I paid $7,000 for it on something. I'm not gonna say it.
Consistency, bro.
Man, it's,
you know how
I have it tattooed.
I
have it tattooed on me.
Oh damn! There we go. Okay, you're in.
That's it.
What would you tell Sam in his early 20s, starting out, if you were in the room with him right now? I don't know how the fuck that would happen, but if somehow you were in this ulterior universe, what would you tell him?
Dog, everything's gonna be fine. Even when you feel like the whole world is coming to an end, or when the song's not cracking, or the tickets aren't selling, and it's gonna be fucking fine. That's it. Just hang on tight. Outlive your competition.
Bro, I want to thank you so much for coming through. You just finished a massive tour that went amazing. I know you're a super busy guy who doesn't normally do forward-facing things, but I'm really grateful to have you on. I think what you've shared today is different to every other guest that we've had. They've been great episodes too, but it's really refreshing to have like a completely different spin and take. And you've always put out an amazing energy in the short time that I've known you, and I'm sure that is a big part of the reason that you've come so far. So dude, I just want to thank you for being here today and imparting what you've shared and being so honest and open, and yeah, I appreciate you, bro.
You're the man. I appreciate you. And to be honest, dude, if it wasn't you I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't you. Straight up.